Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey, yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Welcome back, everybody. Jaysin Static with another episode of the interview series. I am Jaysin Static. You, sir, are.
And I'm Jamal Swagg, a.k.a. the Muddy Mauler.
The Muddy Mauler, man. How long have you been in the wrestling business?
Oh, man. I've been in the wrestling business for way too long. Let's just say I started wrestling back when I was 21. Uh-huh. And I would say that was, I'm not going to lie, I'm bad when it comes to keeping up with years. So right. I'm still practicing. But, sheesh, I would say maybe 2000, probably 2014.
2014. You know, funny thing that you say that is, I know where you started training at.
Really?
Yes, I know where you started training at. You started training at the South Broadway Athletic Club.
Yep.
With Espinoza and Johnny Courageous and all those guys at the MNWA.
Yep.
Funny enough, that's the exact same place I started. And I bounced out of Broadway in 2013.
Really?
So I was still watching Broadway whenever I moved away. Mm-hmm. And so I know a little bit about your history. Mm-hmm. You know, I watched your start, so I knew who you were when you hit me up to do these episodes. So like, I already had a little bit of history on you. I watch. A lot of people don't think I watch, but I watch all the local indie shows, so I know what's going on.
I like the way you think.
But you hit me up to do these episodes. You said, Jaysin, I want to get in on these, man. Are you ready for this first question?
I'm ready.
Might be an easy one, but it's a cool question. Who is your go-to wrestler in this modern era, and why?
Now, when you say that, are you talking about WWE or are you talking about?
It could be independent wrestling. It could be Japanese wrestling. It could be European wrestling. It could be any company, anybody who's your go-to wrestling. Everybody has their favorite person to watch. Mm-hmm. You know. Who is your favorite person in the modern era? Meaning within the last 10.
Oh man.
Within the last 10 years.
It's just one guy, and we had a history.
Yeah.
We wrestled back in Cinco de Mayo day. Okay. And his name is, well, he used to go by Danny Adams. Okay. But he goes by Dan the Dad.
Dan the Dad, okay. Dan the Dad.
So that's one guy that I'm looking up to.
Dan the Dad. I do enjoy his matches. Mm-hmm. He always has hot matches. They're always fun to watch.
And it's funny because me and my buddy, we went to GCW.
Yes, sir.
And Dan the Dad had fought in an 8-man tag match. Yeah. And I was just like, man, dude, like, and the basic thing why I like him is like, I like his character. Uh-huh. I like how he presents himself in the ring. I like his moves always flow and consent and always synced with each other. Yeah. And basically, he comes out with the coffee mug, and I've never seen I've never seen a wrestler who does a dad gimmick that fucking good.
Right. So, you have history with him, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I remember Dan the Dad, he started as Danny Adams back in the day. Mm-hmm. So, what is the history that you have with Danny Adams and Dan the Dad?
I would basically say because me and Dan the Dad, we did travel up and down the roads. Uh-huh. And then plus, like I said, we used to train back then. Then also, we had several matches down at Broadway. Yeah. We had a match at Cinco de Mayo. Okay. So when I say history, it's like I really want to wrestle him again. Right. And the last time that we fought, I beat him. Yeah. So that could be actually good. Nice. Communicate.
Could be a future story, maybe. Mm-hmm. You got to hit him up, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that runs Glory Pro. You know, so Glory Pro runs down in Broadway too, and they run all over the St. Louis area.
Mhm.
So that might be a future matchup. You got to hit him up, man.
Yeah, I gotta, and I see he's doing his thing. You know, he's booked. He's booked like crazy.
He's booked all over the place,
Yeah,
all
over the place, and that's. And every once in a while, I'll be trying to get my little message in with him, but
yeah,
he's a busy man.
Yeah, man. It's I always say when you graduate to that next level, like he's at, your time is far and few between. And if you're one of those guys that's a little bit lower on the totem pole of the wrestling circle, I'm just like, keep hitting it away, man. You never know. You know, like go to the Glory Pro shows. You never know what's gonna happen, man.
And when I look at Dan the Dad, because Dan the Dad, he was Danny Adams, and I was Jamal Swagg at the time, and yeah, I mean Swagg, you know, but it was hard for him to. Who is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he? And when I think about Dan the Dad, it's like, okay, let me come up with something. So I came up with the Muddy Mauler.
Okay.
And by that meaning is like I kind of throw what I like, what I'm interested in real life into the wrestling business.
Okay.
Like I'm kind of a country / county boy.
Okay.
So I kind of throw that into the gimmick. I like
to,
you know, I like to go four-wheeler ride, and I like to get, you know.
It makes sense with the Muddy Mauler. Got kind of putting two and two together with the Muddy Mauler thing. So I was like, okay.
And then Mauler is like, you know, I get aggressive sometimes when people get on my bad side. Right. And so I'm like, okay, let me throw that because I got my dad's temper.
Right. And I think a lot of young dudes. Yeah. I definitely have my dad's temper too.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me just throw that in there. So now I'm evolving into the Muddy Mauler gimmick. Yeah. And that's kind of what Dan the Dad has like rubbed that on me. He's you know, I'm like, damn, I gotta come up with something.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that you recently came back to wrestling, right? How's that been for you since you came back?
You know, I'm glad you actually asked that question. I was just talking about my buddy about this. Right now, I feel like wrestling is kind of hard right now. Yeah. Because back then, it was kind of so easy to get booked. Yeah. But now I see people reaching out to people. And I'm the type of person that likes to stay communicated. Right. I'm the type of person that, you know, if I write you, you know, I expect a response. Right. Now, don't get me wrong. Most promoters, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you know, come to the place, you know, help set up." Yeah. Okay, I get that. You know, come set up. But my thing is like, the more, you know, I set up, you know, up, it's like, where am I getting at? Right. Where am I going?
Yeah. It's almost like. I get that a little bit, you know, because I try to go around. I haven't been here lately, but over last year when I first started doing these interviews, like I probably went to almost every single. I think the only show that I didn't hit was the Glory Pro shows. They always had it on days where I was at other shows. So, but I hit Broadway, I hit PWE, I hit IWAU, I hit pretty much all the shows. I hit Herb Simmons shows, and it's one of those things. So I see a lot of young guys. And, you know, out there, you know, helping set up, doing that stuff. And I still believe in that old school standard. But I also believe, like, even though I'm one of the old school guys, you know, I came in like 07, 08. And I believe that, I think once a young guy, a guy that's maybe trying to get on a show, and you're like one of those old school cats that's like, you know, come to the show, help set up. I think there needs to be like a standard of like, you know, if they come to 1-2 shows, maybe that third show, you know, give them a tryout. Let's see how they work. You know, like that. Yeah. Like I'm not one of those guys that believes in like leading the guys on, like having them just come up, set up, and not giving them anything in the future. Like maybe the first 2 shows, have them come set up, help out, get the vibe of it, get the vibe of the locker room and everything like that. See how they work with people, see how they interact with people, because you want a cohesive. Right. You want a solid, cohesive locker room. You don't want a bunch of conflict and everything like that. Yeah. And see how they interact with your crew. Yeah. I think that should be a proper way of doing it. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I feel about it, and my thing is like I hate when people dog other promotions.
Yeah,
I hate it, and by that meaning it's like okay, people talk shit on Broadway.
Yeah,
I don't like that because I came back to this wrestling business because I am passionate about it, and I love it. And I was trying to see who can book me because certain organizations know me. By that meaning, it's like, okay, I know such and such. I know that person, that person. And so Broadway was actually the type. South Broadway Athletic Club was the type of organization that said, "Hey, Swag, you come back anytime." Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed that because you're giving me an opportunity to call this home. Yeah, and you can come home anytime. Right. So when people say, "Yeah, Broadway sucks," and this, that, I don't like that. Yeah. I don't like people talking about organizations. Like one organization is Collision, and I did a show there recently. Yeah. And it's a new fed. You know? So check it out. But anyway, I did a show there, and I applaud them because they could be like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to use that guy," right? But they actually gave me the opportunity to say, "Hey, let's see what this guy got," right? And I like that. Yeah,
yeah. I'm one of those guys. Like I'm one of those guys. Like I watch all the wrestling. I watch as much wrestling as I could possibly watch in a week. Mm-hmm. I watch all the local companies that we have around here. There's probably about within a 2-hour radius of St. Louis, Missouri. There's probably about 30 different companies within a 2-hour radius. Oh yeah. I try to watch as much as I can of all the stuff going on, and I think there's pros and cons to every single company. Right. There's pros and cons to WWE. There's pros and cons to AEW. Right. There's pros and cons to every company, from the top of the industry to the very bottom of the industry. Right. My thing is, if you've ever watched any of these things, if you end up knowing me and you come back to these things, I'm all about the positivity in wrestling. Nobody has a perfect show, top to bottom, every single time. Right. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be little mess ups. Maybe a story's not working out right. Maybe one of the workers that they have on the show is not very good. Right. Maybe he's green. Like everybody's going to have problems. Right. So it does not help the wrestling industry or the wrestling business to sit there and talk shit about everybody. Right. That's my opinion about it. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it only does. I think it only hinders. The local area and hell, the wrestling industry in general, because let the fans do all their shit talking. Yeah. But if we're we're in the wrestling business and we're just sitting there talking shit about other promotions and stuff like that, like to me, like the funny thing is I've been around long enough and I have enough connections with a lot of people in a lot of different states and stuff like that. Like people watch. Most definitely. People from the big shows watch all these indie shows. They see the drama. They see the people. They know the people who to talk to, who to work with, and who not to work with. Right. And there's reasons why, like you see all these big companies come around, and a lot of them don't use a lot of people. Or especially in this Midwest, the St. Louis region, you wonder why most of them use guys from outside of this area. Yeah. It's because there's so much drama. There's so much problems. There's so much politics. Yeah. I don't like this. Like, I try to go to all the shows. I promote all the shows. If one of my guys from the Fight Club crew is on a show, I promote that show. I don't care. I work with IEW, Illinois Elite Wrestling. I work with them almost exclusively now. I do their video stuff. Right. But that doesn't mean that I can't promote other shows. Right. And I tell them now, I'm like, I promote everybody. I go to everybody's shows. No hard feelings. And they're like, cool, do what you got to do, bro. But hey, man, I think we're cool on this. You got anything to promote? Upcoming shows?
Pretty much. Like yeah. So April 12th is the MMWA South Broadway wrestling show.
Much love to South Broadway, where I started.
Next Saturday, and I personally, the Muddy Mauler, will be teaming up with Cardi B.
Ooh.
Cardi.
Cardi's a good kid.
Cardi Martin. And we're defending the tag team titles. Okay. MMWA tag team titles against AJ and Cortez. Ooh. And also April 12th is Midwest Wrestling Collision. Okay. My boy Paul, he'll be performing and doing his thing. So go check that out. And also they got NWA guys, Taylor, Taylor, and Kerry Morgan.
Okay.
So go and check that out. So whoever you want to go to, I'm fine with.
Website?
Oh yeah.
Merchandise?
You can check out you can check out Jamal Swagg. Jamal Swagg with 2 G's on Instagram. So you can
we'll make sure
me
we'll put all that stuff down in the description below.
And
you got a new T-shirt that you just got.
Oh yeah. My new T-shirt is on Instagram, Muddy Muller. Go and check that out. You know, T-shirts are coming. So, and also Paul the Master. You can follow him on Instagram, Paul Major 1.
We're gonna be talking to him in a little while, but we're gonna drop this like we always do. Jaysin Static across all social media. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, check me out. Fight Club Wrestling Academy on Facebook, YouTube. That's where we're at. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know down in the comments below. And last but not least, I can't tell you what it is, Jamal Swagg, because it's a secret that only I and the Fight Club crew guys know. But I'm going to be dropping some merchandise in the future. I don't know when. I don't know where I'm going to be dropping it. But all I can tell you, it's for the culture of pro wrestling. That's all I can give you. Much love. Appreciate you coming on, J-Ball.